Can anybody hear me? Bop, bop, bop. Hello, hello, Philip. Waiting for more people to join back. My dang sister decided to zap out the Wi-Fi, and I couldn't do anything. Anyways, we're getting back on track. We're discussing Essential Powers Peacedeal, and we're about to decide what happens with these Italian colonies here. Uh, and I was saying, should the Ottomans get them? So that's what we're currently at right now. So, should they get them, Philip? You'll be the sole decider of this decision. Japan wasn't in the Central Powers. We're not trying to go for chaos. We're trying to go for. That isn't a bad idea, actually. I was about to call it crazy, but. The Indian subcontinent will be freed now. They're a brown color, though, because I don't have many colors. So we're not saying the Ottomans get them, so the Italians get to keep them. It's a simple yes or no question on whether the Ottomans get them. I don't know. I don't hear a yes or a no yet. I'll wait. Okay, I guess the Italians will keep these colonies then. And lastly, Germany. What land should Germany gain? Well, first of all, hold on. Should Austria we'll focus more on Austria actually. Should they gain land from Italy? And should they gain all of Montenegro? Does Austria have the right to these lands? Hold on, I need to fix this board that's driving me crazy. There. Now it's like, now there's not an enclave, or that doesn't look weird. Should Austria get Montenegro? That's the current bidding we're having. Do they get? I think they should. Austria and Italy. We'll give them this far into Italy. Any more, I feel like, would be unreasonable. Do they get Montenegro, though? Do they deserve Montenegro? Okay, Albania gets it, I guess. Even though they weren't part of the Central Powers, but given their unique stance during the war, I'll allow it. And now for the big man. Or should Austria get more land from Russia? Russia has fallen. Should Austria get land this way? My sister, I figured it out. My sister zapped all the Wi-Fi. She was watching a show on the TV, and then it's right next to the router, so it just zapped all my Wi-Fi. So, as of right now, this is what the map looks like. India got independence. Um, Africa is pretty much unchanged. We're talking about Austria right now. Do they deserve Russian lands? Hold on, we'll get to Africa. Does Austria deserve land in Russia? That's the current question. I guess they gain all these lands back here. I mean, technically they already have Ukrainians, so this isn't a too far-fetched proposal. Okay, now we're going to Germany. What happens on the... Okay, the Ottomans get Crimea, I guess. What happens with Germany? What happens on the Eastern Front? Do they gain all these lands like they wanted? What happens to these lands? Or should the Germans accept a moderate peace deal? Or do the Russians deserve to be demolished? Alright, that seems more reasonable. We'll get a, we'll give Germany a few vassal states. Okay. We have a few puppets on Mega Finland. I don't think they get St. Petersburg, but here's where they can get all of Karelia. I can support a huge Finland in this timeline. Yeah. So now Germany's on the eastern or the western front. They're going to absorb Luxembourg. What about Belgium or the Netherlands? What happens to either of them? Okay, we're not going to split the UK into Scotland and England because I feel like that would be too much of an unbalance in the power to just split a major power. So, alright. Did the Germans gain key French territories? High in iron production? Alright, we'll make Brittany independent from France. Get a weird green color for that. What? Okay, we're not making France communist. Should Germany annex these territories? These are hired iron for the French, and they deserve punishment for having started the war. Technically, you know, well, Serbia started the war, but France helped contribute to this horrible war. So, we could give Ireland independence, yeah. But about the main question here that I'm on, should Germany get these lands? Okay, we'll get to that, but should Germany get these lands? It's a simple yes or no question. Okay, guys, I like your enthusiasm, but okay, there we go. We have a I heard a yes first, so now the Germans have this. And I guess the rest of France will become a German vassal. At least mainland France is. Causing a huge German sphere in Europe. So, a mix of both ideas. Now, what happens in Africa? Do the Germans deserve to expand their colonies by a lot? Should they annex all this French territory over here in Cameroon? What happens with this land? Do they annex it? I guess we'll also give them a slice here. Okay, I guess the Germans get these lands. I'm guessing this is the proposal here. I'm not sure if this is exactly what you guys meant, but I wouldn't make it. I don't see it being too far out of idea. So the Germans will have a huge colony. Oh my, are we just empowering the Germans even more? Okay, we got some construction going on. German Africa is absolutely monstrous in size. We're gonna have a German puppet in Africa right here. I guess the Ottomans will get Algeria, I guess. Everybody loves the Ottomans here, apparently. But they are way too strung out for their own good. I guess we could say that Germany gets the rest of Chad. All of Arabia. I guess through time the Ottomans could annex these territories. It's not impossible, so I'll let them get it. Okay. We forgot about all the German colonies except for one. Well, the Germans can't just do that. They can't get land from the Americans. I know we want to punish the Americans for being mad, but it's not that time. Do, do the Germans gain a lot of land here? They still have this colony. Should they expand it to unite the colonies? Do they have do we have cheddar permission to connect the rest of the colonies? Do it. No, right. We have German Africa is huge. Absolutely massive. I don't see that ever happening though. You know what? I like this peace treaty. This peace treaty isn't that bad. I think we'll save this as the other one. And we're gonna need to find another thing to do on stream. Okay. Do a World War II peace deal? I guess we could do that. We're gonna also do a World War II peace deals. One for an Allied victory, one for an Axis victory. Alright? We'll just do the wombo combo right here. We might as well, because we got the time. The very first thing we must answer is... We'll start with... We'll do it in reverse of how we did it last time. We'll start with an Axis victory. First of all, we'll run through with Germany first. Do they deserve all of Austria? Do they rightfully own Austria? Okay. This doesn't make sense, but I guess they have half of Austria. Interesting peace deal, guys. Does it go to Italy? I guess we'll go to Italy. I guess that'll be their contribution. Do they get Czechoslovakia? Do the Germans get Czechoslovakia? Yes? Okay. They get Czechoslovakia as compensation. This is an Axis victory, by the way. So, the Germans. You know what? I see that as a reasonable demand. Hungary. Hungary was a Axis power here. Now what happens to Poland? Do they gain all of Poland? Or do they only or are they only able to get partial land from Poland? This is what started the war, and they successfully won. No, Poland doesn't go to Hungary. The Germans are the Germans want everything. We should be thinking, should Germany get everything? Not if Hungary gets everything. Okay. We'll give back some territory, and then we'll puppet the rest. Decent strategy. I guess we'll create a grand puppet state around here. Let's be honest. Some German higher up would be like, you know what, this just makes sense. Let this be a puppet state. Estonia is not getting independence here. We've already decided on that. Finland gets Karelia again. I guess it makes sense. Finland gains all of Karelia. What happens to the Soviets? I'm going to assume that the Finnish will be able to gain more land from the Russians here. Do we have Cheddar permission to have Finnish supremacy all over here? The Finnish get all this extra juicy land. Okay. An Axis victory is a W for the chatters, I guess, because they can do more wacky things, because the Axis... The USSR is collapsing. We'll form a new puppet state over here. Okay, we're back. We're doing a World War II peace deal. Germans are going to install a bunch of puppet states. We'll say all the European parts will go to Germany. They will have a series of puppet states here. And we'll say yes, we need to be a bit more realistic. We'll have a breakaway state here. In this timeline, I guess, we're giving this to Iran. Well, in this timeline, Iran would be an Axis power. Japan is going to be able to get the rest of the land, though. Even though they didn't want any of this land, they're still going to get it because the chatters say so. Okay, I guess we're going to go back to Europe, okay? Yugoslavia was a bad guy. What happens to Yugoslavia? Mexico isn't in the Axis in this timeline. They strictly oppose the Axis in our timeline. What happens to Yugoslavia? Are they going to get Yugo split? They're not. Alright, we're splitting Yugoslavia between Bulgaria, I guess, and Italy. Okay, what about Greece? Greece was also, you know, they should own all of Albania, the Italians rightfully own all of Albania. Did they get all of Greece? We're gonna go with they deserve all of Greece. We're not giving it to Turkey, guys. We're trying to be actual negotiators. Bulgaria gains these lands. I would agree with that one. The need to keep the peace. I guess that makes sense, following with the logic of what we did with the First World War map. Making Bulgaria very huge. Now, what happens to France? Brittany is independent once again. They're going to be a gross color. Spain wasn't even in the war in the first place. So, we're going to assume that, the Germans would get. They would allow, they would allow Brittany independence if it means they can control the rest over here. Okay. We'll give Italy some territory. Sorry, Corsica, you don't get independence here. And then we have a German puppet in the rest of France. Switzerland was neutral. And there goes Benelux. They didn't help Germany at all. They were just there. Whatever they allegedly helped the Germans with, they would probably have done that with the Allies. They annex all of Norway, but Denmark is spared. You know what? We'll just create a huge puppet state. You know what? I'll appeal to both. We have a puppet state here. Are we grand peacemakers? Russia doesn't exist, man. I don't think we can give Finland back to the Russians. Okay, I guess that's reasonable. The UK splits into two. I could I could see this being a German puppet, actually. Split them? We're splitting them up? Yeah, we're gonna advocate for Scottish independence. We're gonna have a union type thing up here. I guess we're gonna give back Northern Ireland to Ireland for being neutral. No, the Germans would want Wales. Actually, I don't think we can have Brittany. Brittany's gonna go to Germany. I already have too many puppets. Whoever said Brittany is gonna be sad now. Brittany doesn't exist anymore. The Americans lose land. We'll get to the Americans eventually. You guys can make the Americans suffer in a bit. What happens in Africa? Does Italy gain a bunch of land? What happens in Africa here? Oh, come on. Chad gets independence. I guess we'll have an independent colony. I'd assume the Germans would want colonies back. Colonies would get Northern Africa. Yeah, Germany would definitely want their colonies back. They would definitely want a colonial empire. Italy was made powerful. They're not exactly the Rome they wanted, but they're getting something here. Next, we'll have the colonies as a lighter color. Also get that colony. And we'll make a new one right here. We're separating the German colonies in Africa because they're different colonies, you know. Chad will get independence, though. We're gonna have a weird looking color for Chad. Okay, I guess it's a reasonable request for Italy. Connect their colonies. Okay, so Africa's just getting bombarded. They're gonna have to leave some of Africa to other people, you know. They would eventually run out of resources to supply Africa, so Who's the light blue? That's Chad, obviously. Italy will get these colonies, I guess. I like your suggestions, but again, we're trying to be a bit realistic here. But since you guys are a live stream chat, it's not going to be the most realistic requests ever, but we're trying to work with something here. I guess we'll have Spain connecting their colonies as punishment to the French for losing. I guess the rest of Africa has to become the rest of French Africa is a German puppet. We'll have a South African Union happening down here. I feel like that's a reasonable take, considering that the Axis is knocking down everything. So, the Axis is world domination here. Let's go over to Japan. The Americans must pay. The Japanese are going to do some. Do we all approve of this colony? Do anybody object? We don't like this colony. It's a bit too much. All right. We'll leave the Americans alone for now. They won't get all of China. They'll get some parts of China. They'll learn their mistake, we'll say. Can't hold all of China. So, they know that. So, they're going to have only parts of China. Do we all agree on this peace deal? Yeah, China would always come back and fight more. Do we all agree on this peace deal? Do we all agree? I guess Japan can get the French colony there. And then I think we're gonna. Thailand didn't want to be in the war. The Japanese forced them in. They didn't want to expand at all. The Germans have plenty, and the Japanese have received plenty as well. So I'm gonna cap off this peace deal right here. Okay, we're capping up off that peace deal here. We're gonna have the final peace deal for the stream, for the Axis lose. Okay, the Axis have lost. What should happen now? The Axis lost. They've not behaved. They've not behaved well. What should happen? What? Is that really a question? We're moving on. We're moving on to another peace deal. I've been live streaming for more than an hour today, so I like to move on to other things. We have the Soviets have claims over. The Soviets have claims over all this land. What amount of land do the what amount of this land do the Soviets really deserve? I think Japan might have a Russian revolution. What are you talking about? The Soviets don't gain anything, alright? Does Poland gain Eastern Prussia? Yes or no? We need to weaken the Germans for their bad actions in this war. So should Poland gain all of Eastern Prussia? Okay, let's tone it down. We're trying to be realistic. If you be more realistic. Huh? Okay. So, do they deserve Eastern Prussia? Okay. All of Prussia. All the old Prussian lands. And everything is going to go back to Poland. The Germans did bad. You may not agree, but Poland deserved some compensation for a genocide. You might not agree, but let's face it, they deserved something. Should the Germans be split up even more? We'll leave Austria alone. Austria didn't deserve anything. We'll leave Austria as is. Okay, I guess we're gonna have a federation here. Will Lithuania join the Union? This would actually be a cool scenario, because I'm going to play all these scenarios out, by the way. And each one will have a separate video, so we're going to get 4 videos out of 4 maps here. I guess we're going to have a free Bavaria. I'm not that opposed to that. Russia doesn't get Kaliningrad. Does Lithuania join the Union, though? That's what I need to know as of right now. I can move on to other ideas once we settle on the thing I'm trying to ask the audience. Yes? Okay. We have a strong Poland. Denmark also deserves compensation, as I saw in chat. They will gain land here. I think we should leave Bavaria as its own independent state. We can give a bit of land to the Dutch, I guess. They won't get all of Hanover. We're giving all of Benelux a little bit of land. But not too much as to be so unreasonable. We'll get to Africa. We're focusing on Europe as of right now. And I'd say the Germans have been defeated. And I think everybody would agree so. They have nowhere to expand to. They've been defeated. What about Italy? Well, we're done with Germany. What about Italy? Does Italy get separated? What happens with Italy? I guess the British could take a dominion over Belgium. Or a protectorate. Yugoslavia gets everything towards Venice. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess in this timeline, Spain joins the war on the side of the Allies, I guess, would make sense. But does Italy get split into multiple states here? We get a yes or no question. Free Naples. An entire different country down here. We'll have an independent papal state as well, I guess. Or is we're called the papal state? Orange. Oh. A weird color for the papal state. Okay, I don't think we're gonna divide up Italy anymore. Now we can go other ways. Does Italy deserve Libya? in this case, who deserves Libya? Should the British? Let's be pro-British here. Should the British gain all of Libya? No. Does Libya get independence then? Free it. Libya is independent now. Libya is independent now, guys. It has happened. This would definitely cause a World War III. The Soviets wouldn't like this at all. But that's a time for it. That's something I'll cover another day. Egypt is British. Yep. Egypt is in fact British. That makes sense. Think of all the Italian colonies. I'm very pro Ethiopia. I really like Ethiopia, so I'm supportive of this idea. A very important thing. Are we going to decolonize Africa? Are we going to try to decolonize Africa, or what is the idea here for Africa? Madagascar is never going to be owned by Japan. China's a mess, though. Are we going to decolonize Africa? No. Africa's just gonna stay as it is, I guess. Okay, now for our last decision. What is going to happen with Japan? Decolonize the French part of Africa? Yeah, let's just be mean to the French, I agree. We have an entire free French Africa. Just becomes all of an independent country. I'll have to remap China for the actual video, but free Syria. I feel like Syria could go in a personal union with Iran. This is mainly because I don't have that many colors. They'll have a free union. What Northern Islands? These ones? What happens with Taiwan? Hold on. Does China get Taiwan? Is Taiwan going to be incorporated into whatever happens with China? Give nothing to the Soviets. True that. Does Taiwan have to enter the Chinese sphere of chaos? It becomes an American protectorate. Us will label them under the same jurisdiction as the Philippines, I guess. We already decided that I saw that American protectorate was first, so it's our first come, first serve. Next, do we split Japan into multiple states, or will it? Hold on. Okay, do we split Japan into multiple states? Is this a yes or no? Three states. I guess we'll have this. This island's gonna be free, and then I guess we'll split it around there. So that's Japan. They're three separate states. I guess we'll give some land to the other state so we can clarify it a bit more. Okay, we're not giving Japan to China. It is going to be under US influence as well. So keep that in mind. Are we all okay? I think this is going to be it for the live stream. This will all be Japanese controlled, just with American jurisdiction over it. I think this is going to be it for the live stream, though, guys. I gotta save this map before we end things off. South America never changes, guys. Yes, this is a World War II map, but we just finished the live stream, man. You're a bit late. Unless you guys really want me to continue with a cherry on top. But I want to do something else today. Well, I'll end the stream here, I guess. But don't worry, guys. We'll have more streams in the future. If you guys like this stream, make sure to hit that like button. Like what? Um, I'm making videos. I need to work on animation and stuff. Anyways, if you guys like this stream, make sure to hit that like button. And if you really liked it and you're not already subscribed, might as well do so now. Okay. You can rewatch the stream if you want, Kaiju. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next stream, which will hopefully be either later today